Hi guys, it's Gareth here from True Spiritual Awakening. Uh, this video is going to be the fourth video in a series of videos I've been making, all about God realization and pure divinity. And I have been documenting this process as it unfolds over the last couple of months, and I just really want to keep kind of adding to what is how all of this is starting to open up and how it's starting to reveal itself. Now, again, an awful lot of the stuff that I'm speaking about in these videos, uh, goes over a lot of people's heads, and what I'll try and do, I'll try and explain it as best I can, um, even if it's just for me to be able to express how all of this is happening, and document it on a video, and at some stage in somebody's um, path that they do come across these videos, they find them helpful. So the last the last couple of videos I had been talking about this, and how it wasn't just a one off kind of an opening and a closing. So this video, it's been a couple of weeks now since the last one, but in this video I'm just going to talk about some new stuff that's been unfolding and happening in this God realization. And so I'll start by saying that one of the things that I've been intuitively drawn to was mantras. While this force started coming in, and this supreme being started to reveal itself to itself through me, um, this pull towards reciting mantras came about. Now, I'd been saying mantras before, but they never seem to have the effect that they're having at the moment. And so I had been saying them, and I had started to really build and build and build on these mantras, and I was starting to get into some really, really high volume of these mantras. And one of the main mantras I have been saying, and still say, is the Mahashadasi mantra, which is the highest Sri Vidya mantra. And um, one of the the things that had been happening every time I would recite this mantra, um, this flow of pure divinity that was coming down through the top of my head, this energy, would act differently when I would say these mantras, and it seemed to somehow disperse the energy differently, because the energy would just come in by itself anyway, into the system. But when I started to say these mantras during this flow, um, the energy started to act differently, and it started to kind of move into different areas of the body by saying these mantras. And what I later learned, what was happening, was that the mantras was was somehow pulling that force into the cells of the body, and the whole goal was to divinize the body. And this is what's happening now with me. Everything seems to be body based, body energy. My energy body, my energy field is growing. It feels like it's much wider, it's more expanded. I feel much more energy. It's moving down my legs into my calves. So it seems to be doing a certain particular job. So I'm going to talk about some other little changes. I'd been saying the mantra last week, around about 7 days ago, and I had gotten up to really, really high reps in it, and one of the days I got to about 1,000 repetitions of this mantra. And I came up that evening to go to bed, and my energy body was just, it was just you know, buzzing. It was vibrating, and I lay on the bed and I closed my eyes, and it felt like I was falling through space. And there started a ringing in my ears, so it was really, really uncomfortable. And eventually, after about half an hour, I just kind of lay there and relaxed into it. About half an hour later, it's kind of started to subside a little bit, and I ended up kind of getting some sleep. Now, I was in and out of sleep. I was awake quite a lot during the night, but you know, the real uncomfortable intenseness that had come from reciting the real high volumes of these mantras started to kind of, you know, dissipate a little bit. And what happened was, the next morning I got up and I started to do some pranayama, which I had been practicing. And normally I would do the pranayama and I would go straight into doing my mantra work. So I had done the pranayama, and I was just sitting up ready to get my beads out to start counting my mantra, counting the mantras. And sort of a knowing came to me, and it said to me that no, you're done with the mantras. You've burst. So it kind of, the way it kind of explained it was that I had pierced through some veil using the mantras, and it was like you're done. You've pierced through the veil, and I was like, okay. So I just sat there, and I started to enter this new what I can only describe as layer of consciousness. So it's, when I talk about these different states of consciousness, they're not places far off in distance. You know, a lot of people think it's almost like they're all kind of like if you've ever seen a Russian doll, all kind of nested within each other, and it's like you're moving up through these different layers. And this layer that I had somehow gotten into, it was amazing. Now it was different. It was different from the pure divinity that I spoke about in the previous videos. This was a kind of a timeless place, and there was a light, but it was a colorless light, and it was, how it felt to me was it was a dark light, and there was depth to this light, and there was particles. There was like these little gold particles floating in the space all around, and it was super nice, super nice, and it was such beautiful bliss here. And time seemed to not exist in this place, and I could open my eyes and I could kind of come back and look around the room, and then I could close my eyes again, and I was straight back into this place. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is something different. And while I closed my eyes, it was almost like all of creation just stopped. It ceased while I was there. And it was almost like I had this remote control that I could stop time. And you know, I would kind of play around with it. I would open my eyes and look around, and then go back into it, just close my eyes. And I was like, wow. So there was like layers. There's layers to this consciousness, and I had just punched through into this next level. Now, it stayed for about, you know, I don't know, about an hour or two, and it was really, really nice. But then it did seem to kind of close down a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay. But again, one of the things that I have kind of, you know, learned over the years of doing this is that, you know, some stuff just happens and it goes, and not to get hung up on it or grasp at something that doesn't abide. Now this didn't seem to abide like the previous states. And I kind of asked what this was. I was like, look, what is this? Because, you know, as far as I was concerned, you know, what was coming in the previous videos that I spoke about, it couldn't get any better. So here, all of a sudden, this was something new that was opening up, and I just couldn't figure. There's no handbook to go and try and find out where you are. So I asked, and all of the sudden I got. Look again. I'm not going to give too many details away, but I was shown an image of a person, and the image then gave me an indication of what this was, what this reality or this level of consciousness was. And I was like, and as soon as I said it, I said, "Is this certain place?" And all of a sudden, vibrations started to go up and down my body, and I just thought, "Okay, wow, this is it." But it didn't abide, so it closed down, and it didn't seem to come back the way it did. Now, again, stuff has opened up before for me, and it's just the beginning. So it's possible that it will open up again, and it did. It did. So I want to talk a little bit about I was doing an online intensive the weekend just gone, and on the first day, I think it was the second session. Now I was doing it online, but I also had a couple of friends with me. There was 4 of us, and one of my friends was doing Shaktipat for one of the other people in the room while I was doing my intensive. And I remember being there and having my eyes closed, and I could feel the Shakti, and I was going, "Oh, that's my friend's Shakti, I feel." And I remember this intelligence kind of opening up, this sort of all-knowing intelligence kind of just opened up, and it said, "That's not his Shakti, that's your Shakti." And all of a sudden, this realization was that, oh yeah, it's just, he is me, and his Shakti is me. And the person he was given the Shaktipat to, I could hear them making noises and kind of little sighs. I thought, and there that person is making these sounds. And then the intelligence came in again, and it said, "That's you making them sounds." And I was like, wow. And then all of a sudden, I had realized that one of the other people who was there had left, had walked out and taken their laptop with them. And all of a sudden, I knew, it was like I was getting this all-knowing intelligence, this supreme knowledge started to come in, and it was like, oh, so here we are, and this laughter and this kind of like this understanding that it's all this big joke, from that perspective, obviously. Seen from the veiled perspective, it's different. But here I was having this force coming in through me, this and what it is it's the descent of this supreme being, the Godhead. It comes down and it inhabits the body, and the two merge. So all of a sudden, all of the intelligence from the Supreme Being is being made aware to me, because the two are now coexisting in the one body. And here was this beautiful force coming in, and I started to realize almost like how everything was working, the dynamics of everything. And everything was happening in front of me, and the quality of Brahman was almost like the substratum of everything. So if you can imagine a sock puppet, okay, and the space in which the sock puppet, inside of that is Brahman. Inside of me is Brahman, and everything that I was putting my attention on had this underlay of Brahman in underneath, and it was almost like reality is painted on Brahman, if that makes sense. And I am the Brahman, okay, and I'm also that which is manifesting all of creation in front of my eyes, okay, and I'm the supreme being who has descended down into the body, okay, and I could see that my friends were me, right, and the Brahman was also the force that, if we use the analogy or the sock puppet, it's the space up inside of everything. So if you see the image of, say, a ball, what's inside of that ball is not really just, space and air. It's just Brahman inside it, and it's painted over with this image of the ball, which has been manifested by the Divine Mother. So all of a sudden, all of this was being displayed to me, and it was comical. It was really, really, I started laughing. And the friend who had left with his computer, right, here was this bliss. Like, there was no, this was it. This was what everybody is looking for, okay? We're being held in it. It's like a fish that swims in water but doesn't know what water is, okay? And I know what this is, and I know that this is me, and that I am the one who is creating all of this, and everybody that I put my attention on is me. Everything, it's all the individuals in creation are this one supreme being, okay? And they are also the Brahman, okay? So here was this friend who had just walked out away from this, okay, and had then opened up his computer to join into another meeting to try and reconnect back in through that meeting to what he had just left. And I just thought this was comical. I started laughing, and I couldn't stop laughing. I laughed for almost 90 minutes. The meditation with the group was 90 minutes, and I had just laughed completely non-stop for 90 minutes. And I had so much bliss. The bliss that was in my brain was starting to become painful. I had at one stage we logged on back on to the group, and I was like, I can't function. I can't talk to these people. And some people started to ask questions, and I just everything that was asked was just comical, and I laughed and laughed. And eventually we took a break. And on the break, I had to lay down on the sofa, and the bliss was just coming in waves and waves of bliss in my head. And at one stage, I thought, have I been spiked? Has somebody put maybe LSD or something, some sort of psychedelic substance into my food when we ate? Because, I mean, this was something that I had not experienced before. It was now I'd experienced bliss. I'd experienced all these amazing knowings and downloads, but this was almost like the lid had been blown completely off, and the supreme being was revealing itself to me by lifting this veil further and further off each time. And it had removed this veil so much that it was too much for me to take in, and I started to develop this so much bliss that it became painful, and I had to I developed a headache then that evening, and I even found it difficult driving home that evening. So the experience, the opening lasted for about 8 hours until I went to bed that night. And it's still there. It's different. It reveals itself slightly different. It seems to almost want to come in far stronger when I'm working with people, or when I'm doing a group meditation or an intensive, or when it meets up with other people like my friends, and we start to talk about it, and the energy start to come in. So this is what's it's unfolding. So it's revealing itself to itself, and it's only one. There is only one supreme being. Okay, even the concept of the Divine Mother is just this one supreme being. Okay, it's just manifesting itself into different positions to do different roles. So even the concept of the supreme or the Divine Mother, it's just the one being, and we give it an interface that we can then we feel comfortable interacting with, or we feel comfortable having a connection with the image of a Divine Mother. But it's not really a Divine Mother. It seems to be more of a kind of a supercomputer that's manifesting creation for us to interact with. So what's happening is there's a part of that supreme being that is the allower, that allows this supercomputer to do what it wants, to manifest what it wants, and this part of the supreme being just enjoys what the Divine Mother is displaying for it. So everything, it just goes, okay, no problem. It allows everything to turn up on this screen of consciousness, which it gets to enjoy. It gets to taste all the fruits and all the bounties that the Divine Mother puts on display. But even the picture of the Divine Mother, it's not quite the way it's seen. It's not some woman who's standing there, looking after us. It's not like that. It's just we feel more comfortable with that picture. And then even the Divine Mother has all these different qualities to her, and she has a destructive quality to her. But rather than it be her that carries out the destruction, we then give it a kind of a subcategory of, and we call it Kali, and it's the fierce, destructive side to the Divine Mother. And there's all different different goddesses, but it's all just the one carrying out different duties. So that's my update. It's another long one. I'm going to I'll keep this will be all put under the God Realisation videos, and it'll be a playlist. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, because it really helps me. And like and share and whatever you can, because the more you do that, the more that YouTube displays my videos to potential viewers, and it gets my message out. So thank you very much. I shall see you in my next video.